Hello and welcome to this 15-minute video which is going to talk about WinLoad for Qtest. WinLoad makes performance testing for Citrix, thick client applications, terminal server-based applications very simple. As WinLoad does not work on a protocol level like other load testing tools, it eliminates scripting and therefore can be completely protocol independent. WinLoad will work with any kind of application so long as it has a GUI front end. WinLoad simulates users by sending mouse and keyboard events, recognizing Windows objects or recognizing bitmaps on the screen. It generates load by using either a terminal server or a Citrix server as an injector to simulate real users interacting with applications. WinLoad is integrated with Qtest, so you still get benefits such as integrated monitoring and charting, automatic report generation, and anomaly detection. So let's take a look at a demonstration of WinLoad where we'll record a script and generate load using that script. So the first thing I'm going to do is to open the WinLoad session launchpad, which is in Quotium Qtest WinLoad session launchpad. You'll notice I've already got the WinLoad console open. I've pre-configured a launchpad which is EC2 because what we're going to be connecting to is a Amazon EC2 Citrix server. For that configuration, all I've actually done is I've chosen the session type. WinLoad can use either Remote Desktop Protocol or Citrix, so we're going to use ICA, which is Citrix. I'll left the rest as default, and all we need to do is tell it which server to connect to. So we have an address, or if we have a list of servers, we can tell WinLoad to connect to more than one. If, for example, we have a server farm. And finally, we need to give it some session credentials. I've just hard-coded some values in there. Of course, we can increment those using WinLoad's internal variables, or we can use a connection file which has a list of usernames and passwords. So the first thing I'm going to do is to launch one session, because in here I'm actually going to record my script. I can record the script from anywhere really, anywhere that the WinLoad agent is running. I prefer to record them inside the replay environment simply because it's going to have the same properties such as screen size and icon location. So the WinLoad agent automatically starts. You'll notice it's got a record button and a playback button. Let's get straight on and record a transaction. And this transaction is going to simply open up a WordPad file, type in some values from a set of variables, and save a file and exit. And I want to measure how long it takes to open the word processor and how long it takes to save a file. I'm going to give it a list of countries, so I'm going to call a variable countries, and I'll give it a default value of England. I can set this up after the script is recorded. It doesn't really matter when I do that. Okay, so now we're ready to record. From the point at which I hit the record button, WinLoad starts to record every action that I make, including mouse moves, mouse clicks, keystrokes, and any other actions that I ask it to perform. For example, right now I'm going to hit the F12 key, which is going to perform a bitmap select on the OK button, which appears in the middle of the screen. I want it to do a left mouse click, and I also want it to start a timer, which I'm going to call launch. And what that's going to do is to record the amount of time between the OK button being clicked and the application appearing on the screen. So hitting enter will cause the OK button to be clicked, and then if I hit F12 again when the application appears on the screen, you can see that it's automatically going to stop the transaction and perform no further action other than to stop the timer. So that's my first timer inserted. Now all I need to do is to perform some other actions, so I might just directly type test, for example, and then I might want to put in a value such as an internal variable. Let's put in the time, and let's put in the variable that we created, which is the country. If I wanted to create any other variables, I could do here just by typing in a variable name and a default value. So we're going to select country, which should default to England, which it does. Finally, for this transaction, all I want to do is to save. So clicking the save button, I'm going to save as document.rtf, which already exists. So I'm asked, do I want to replace this file? That's the action that I want to time. So again, I'm going to use the F12 key to select yes with the left mouse button, and the label is going to be called save. So it hit enter, and it's at the point at which the title bar changes from untitled to document.rtf, at which I want to stop the transaction, and again I want to perform no action after that. So finally all that remains for me to do is to close the word processor and stop recording. Now I want WinLoad to replay the script, but instead of just typing in England, I want to use a set of values, and those set of values reside in a text file that I've already created. I'll find that in My Documents, WinLoad, Agent, Scripts, and in fact it's countries.txt. I'm just going to move that into WordPad 2 Resources. What that's going to do is when I actually save the script and open it again. It's actually going to ask me, do I want to use this text file, and do I want to use a random value from the text file for every iteration of the script that I execute. So let's run 3 loops in a sped up fashion and check that we see some alternate countries being played back. Okay, so that's our script recorded and validated. We know it will play back. The next step is to generate some load.